The Chicago Bears just wrapped up practice number 11, and it was one of the most important practices. Both of the running backs seemed to get off. Another impressive, I would say, impressive, but not necessarily the sharpest practice by Caleb Williams. But nonetheless, still did his thing. We also got a little things else to talk about with the defensive side of the ball. A lot of people showed some promise, but y'all know y'all got to hear it after the music first. Tuning in for another episode of Chicago Bears Central. It's one of your hosts here, Steve O Speaks, with another episode. Hey, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. If you want to leave a voice or a text message or call, it's 773-242-9336. Hey, man, let's get straight into it. I'm pretty sure some of y'all are just coming from over the live press conference that just wrapped up down in Hallis Hall. Now, we knew coming into this practice, Ben Johnson made it known that it was there's going to be a very I would say important practice that is going to be some, in his words, I will say, he said it's going to be something to set aside some real evidence on the field. And in other words, a lot of things that we see today is what he expect to see, regardless if it's a preseason game, on the regular season game, playoff game. Now he's setting the foundations of what we're going to see. So coming out this for the most part, for most of the practices, we just been doing installments, getting everybody understanding the playbook, understanding the players around them, just going through the plays, the verbiage, make sure everybody understand the English of the playbook, because we do got new players, we do got new things, and just because plays might be similar, they always changed up terms on different languages, different things they call, and thus forth. Today was the first time they was going to go out here and call off script plays, and for the most part, offense dominated the day. And most importantly, it was the offensive line, and it was most definitely the running game. Now, according to Courtney Cronin and Brad Biggs, and I believe Adam Hogan, a plethora of other people that was at the practice, Kyle Monangai, DJ, and DeAndre Swift did their thing when it came, especially when it was in close quarters, especially when it was second short. They went out there and did their thing. And quite frankly, a lot of the plays was going to the right side, going behind the the twins, as we call it, and Jonas and Darnell Wright. And talking about Hayes looking different. Don't get your ass baked. Y'all know who the fuck this is. But yeah, to hear that the run game is getting more established, we already knew that we pretty much had a run game. It was well established last year, but at the end of the day, when you see it come to full fruition, and especially when you hear it early and often, because that was a lot of things that we was getting on my nerve. Now, y'all remember the live streams that we was having. It was too many times where it was first down and we throwing it. It's too many first times when it's second down and 5 and we just got a good run and we don't run it again. That's something we need to see more often. The run game was always the piece that blew the whole game up. Then Caleb was able to go out there, get the 30-yard game, the 40-yard game, whatever we want to do. The run game was always the engine that pushed this offense. So to see that they had a good practice, to see both of them, especially with Kyle Monangai dealing with some nagging injuries at the end of the day, to hear that he had a good practice is always good news, because soft tissue injuries always, it's tricky. You never know, especially like we're dealing with it now with Luther Burton with the groin injury. You never know how long it's going to be. Now, it was good signing. I don't know if people been saying, you go on Twitter, he was at the practice that we had, the public practice that we had yesterday. Walked around. He didn't have the limp, I will say, that he had when he first injured. But nonetheless, he does look, all right for the most part. So that was good to see. Now I see everybody in the chat talk about the Kobe Bryant news. If you don't know, we already dropped news on it. He will be out for 4 to 6 months. He had surgery. It was a successful surgery. Don't want to hear it, but it is what it is. Like, they're expecting that he probably possibly could be back for the playoffs. So it is what it is when it comes to that. So that's what it was. We also got with Caleb Williams. He also had a pretty strong he had a pretty strong play practice today. He wasn't the sharpest. There was some plays that he did leave out there at the end of the day, but he's not going to be You're not going to be, especially when you have a practice when you're getting off scripts, plays thrown at you. And he did talk about, like, it was cool for the most part. He had a good play to Coast and Love, and he also had a good play to number 14. I don't know who number 14 off the strength right now, but yeah, I definitely love seeing, regardless if it's perfect or not, I want my quarterback to have up and down practices, especially in the training camp, because your young quarterback is not going to always have good days. And we know definitely with Caleb, accuracy was always the second part of the job that we need him to get better at. Accuracy, decision making, and yeah, he left a couple balls a little too high, a little too low, but hey, this is the time to get your accuracy issues together at the end of the day. He had a 4th and 3rd situation where I think I don't know if he dirted the ball, but he definitely got rid of the ball. So it was no play made. It was turnover on downs. I think that was one of the main negatives coming away from the passing game today. Another negative that I thought I saw, let me double check. When Tyson Bagent got in the game, he had a solid day as well, but he did end the practice with an interception. So yeah, like I said, outside of the passing game, for the most part, the passing game today in practice was pretty solid, but where the noise was at was in the offensive line and the run game, especially going to the right side. Darnell Wright was out there moving motherfuckers, and Kyle Monangai was hitting nice gaps, counters, different type of runs. It was a very nice practice to have. Not even gonna lie. Now, at the end of the day, we did have some certain players we have to look out for. Skylar Thomas was somebody that deserved attention today. He definitely had some good plays out there today as well. We did have a couple signings around because, as we know, we drop it like flies. We're dropping like flies. It is what it is, but we gotta sure up some things at the end of the day. But it's good to hear that the bench depth that we are acquiring is doing some great things. Like, you want to hear the good news. Now we did hear that we had a Ray McLeod signing. I didn't hear any news on him today, so I'm sure they're still getting all the contracts and all the stuff together when it comes to that. But yeah, it was a pretty solid practice today for the most part. You didn't really hear. I will hear one of the main concerns that I heard today was probably the quote unquote energy of the entire team, mainly on the defensive side of the ball. I think Adam Hogue said in a tweet at one point during the touchdown, Antoine Wendell kind of told the sidelines to get a little bit more hype, bring some juice to the practice. So based on a lot of people, based on what they was hearing, how the practice was supposed to be run and how the practice was going to be, they thought it was going to be a little bit more intense than what it came out to be. But nonetheless, we don't like I think the whole team sees like we getting hit with the injury bug, so we not gonna come out here and necessarily kill each other. Because like we still gotta make it to the preseason. We still gotta make it to the season. So I'm pretty sure they're not gonna go all out. But that was probably the only concerning thing. But outside of that, I'm not really too concerned when it comes down to it, because I've been hearing physical practice after physical practice after physical practice for the most part. We've been hearing Jordan Vanderberg name flipping motherfuckers. We hearing offensive line players going at it. We seeing it was a clip going out there when Jordan Vanderberg got into it with with I think Logan Jones. You see a clip out there, Montez Sweat getting happy, getting lit. But yeah, this is the time where you hate each other, but these are the long, hot, sweaty, annoying ass practices that bring your team together, gel you together, and make you a team for sure, to be honest with you. But yeah, I like what I hear coming from it. It's good to see that now it's really getting into we're really getting into football now. Once you start hearing, pads are back, of course, but once you start hearing we going off script, we throwing things at Caleb, and even Caleb said in his press conference he's glad, and it's not necessarily he's getting thrown different things, different plays at him to trip him up. He understands that in the game, when it's time, there's going to be times where we got to make adjustments. There's going to there's going to be things that Ben Johnson sees, and he's going to change it on the fly, and he has to be ready for it. The offensive line has to be ready for it, and quite frankly, that's how you got to practice. You got to practice how you play, full speed, 100%. It is what it is. If you don't go out there and give your 100%, you practice how you play, and you can see it. I don't know if too many of y'all in the chat remember in the first beginning of the season, we started off a little and even Ben Johnson said, yeah, that's got to get fixed, and we got to go at it. We got to treat practice just like we do in the games, and we start seeing each and every week practice ramped up, and it transferred to Sunday. We ramped up, so that's how it should be. That's definitely how it should be. But yeah, that was the only I would say is a negative on the whole thing, that it was probably not the most hyped up physical practice that everybody kind of hyped it up to be at the end of the day. But it is what it is. I think it was a very productive day. Caleb felt like it was a very productive day. People on the offensive line and offensive whole pretty much felt like it's a productive day. But I would have to say, to end the practice recap, offensive one. If I had to grade it, it seems like A+ from the O-line and the running backs. You can divvy it up a B to a C with Caleb, because like I said, there was reports that he did leave a couple plays out there. His accuracy wasn't the best. He wasn't the sharpest when it comes to his footwork today. But yeah, outside of that, it's been pretty solid. Like I said, Skylar Thomas made his name known today. And yeah, I like what I've seen. Let's see what y'all talking about in the chat. Lord Crimson said busy day. Yeah. Hey, the one thing about the Bears, you never know what type of day it's going to be. As we got Bobby in the chat.
Steve, what up, brother?
So yeah, I was just going over, pretty much we've been going over practice 11, and it was really a really important practice. Ben Johnson came out here and said this is going to be one of those practices that he looks at and feel like it should be kind of a representation of what we're going to see on the field in the regular season. It's the first day he went off script. And yeah, so what was your first takeaways? I know you saw some of the notes that's been on Twitter and going around. So what's your first thoughts on that, just alone?
Oh, just the part to where they was talking about going off script. I think that's important, because sometimes you're not gonna, after those 15 plays run out at the start of the game, you're going off script. Technically, you're going off the feel of the game. You're gonna be trying to see what the opposing team is doing to you, and you're gonna adjust accordingly. And that was good to not only have his side of the ball, the offense, go off script, but also have Dennis Allen game plan for the offense based on what he was seeing. I think that was a moment to where we always talk about players when we say iron sharpening iron, but I think that's a moment to where you see coaches as iron sharpening iron, and I think that's definitely a necessity for the Chicago Bears team, and you definitely want to continue to see it, bro. I think that's what's gonna make us better, and we're gonna absolutely see what we're made of, bro. Especially because I think next week we got joint practices, and we seeing a lot of teams having their joint practices
today.
Excuse me, starting today. And there's some competition going on. And one thing I don't want
we
is to
didn't
have
this Cleveland today. My bad.
Oh, okay, my bad. So that's a good start. And at the same time, that's still iron and sharpening iron as you going off script and you seeing who wants to actually be a part of this. Because I seen George Pickens talking greasy to them Los Angeles Rams. And that's what you want. You want guys to not only put up, but they got to talk they talk too. So I'm with it.
Yeah, for sure. Now, for the second part of it, Caleb Williams definitely had another impressive practice. He did make some plays out there. He had a nice pass to Coastal Lovin over the middle. He had a nice pass to someone else. I think number 14. I can't think. I think it got to be Khalif Raymond. Somebody did say that in the chat, so it got to be Khalif Raymond. But it wasn't the most sharpest he did. He was not as accurate as he's been in the prior days. As we all know, accuracy is the next level to what he has to be. But outside of that, what was your thoughts? Because impressive practice, but wasn't the cleanest or sharpest.
Yeah, that's pretty much what's gonna happen when you throw in new wrinkles. Obviously, this is where you want to make your mistakes, but you also want to take some good out of this. You want to see if your guys can, face some resilience, and you want to see how these guys become a resilient team. Because last year this team showed that they were resilient, but that's last year's team. This year's team is a whole different team with a couple new bodies, and they're gonna have to build up that resilience and that callus this season for this team because we can't bring 2025 back. We got to focus on 2026. So, and I think this is the perfect time to be making your mistakes. You make your mistakes when the reps count, but not necessarily the games or the matchup count in the win and loss column. So I think that's important, bro.
Facts. Now, many did ask if it's any like D-line or defensive standouts. Based on what I've seen and heard, there's only one real name they really had to stand out, and that is who I named earlier, which is Skylar Thomas, who ended the practice with a interception from Tyson Bagent. So that was also a little talking point that I had was what was your thought process on Skylar Moore as well as some of the signings we have made due to our injuries like Xavier Wood?
I think those players are gonna be essential, bro. We just found out not a couple hours ago, Kobe Bryant is gonna be down for some time. So a guy like Xavier Woods is gonna be essential for the Chicago Bulls team for those 4 months.
Bears.
So, yeah,
I know you just did the Bears.
Bulls.
Bulls.
The Chicago Bears. We're gonna be finding it out how important he can be for the sake of not only himself but this defense and the rookie that's playing next to him. Like, how well can you help him out while also still remaining yourself and helping his defense out as a whole? And these guys got to make plays. I don't think they're gonna come in bunches like last year, but I don't think that we're gonna be the New York Jets of last year where they didn't register an interception. Shit, I doubt that. Not. I doubt that.
No, definitely that. Now, another interesting topic that I kind of flirted with earlier, but I'm seeing more and more like a lot of it was a really run heavy practice for sure, but it was a lot of run heavy to the right side, and it was just nothing the defense could really do to it when it came to Darnell Wright, Jonas, and whoever was running at running back because both Kyle Monangai and DeAndre Swift was eating it there.
Yeah, bro. And that's what Ben Johnson talked about, not this press conference, but I believe 2 press conferences ago. He talked about Darnell Wright's extension and spoke on how the Chicago Bears leaned heavily on that right side when they wanted to run the football. That's not to say that they can't run it to the left, but you automatically know that when you see a Darnell Wright stonewall a pass rusher like Brian Burns, you're gonna run the ball to the right. you're gonna run the ball to the right, and you want to definitely continue to work on that. You definitely want to fix up on anything that you could fix on. You know what I'm saying? Guys have had time off, so when it comes down to it and you get together, you want to make sure that you're strengthening that side of the football as much as possible because that seems like your strong side right now. You're doing the right thing.
Yeah. Now there was no clear answers when it came to the left tackle today. We had a lot of heavy rotations on one-on-ones, especially Jared Wills had some time playing in the first half, and then they switched off with Curran Hamagaje. And then I think the second half, let me double check, make sure. Yeah, I think they just switch swap. Right? Yeah, it's gonna be for them all. But yeah, outside of that, Braxton Jones still being out and everything else. What's your thoughts about that? I mean, obviously, left tackles is the left tackle situation.
Hey, like I told Hayes, I'm just surprised that Karan is getting this much run. Like, I'm not even gonna hold you. You would have thought it would have been Theo Benedict more so than Karan, but that means Karan may not be in a starter rotation, may not be in a rotation, but that means he at least took a positive step in the right direction as a football player. Whether that's him being a part of some type of rotation during the season or not, you want to see your coach is being able to develop, and him being, you know what I'm saying, counted on in these moments over Theo Benedict, that means that he took a step in the right direction. I'm sorry. I got to give it to him.
Yeah, Karen Gamadaj is definitely taking a step in the right direction. I don't know about you, but I've heard nothing but positivity from him this whole training camp,
Which is
even
crazy.
which is crazy because the last time we seen him is what you said, getting this ass whooped against Cleveland. But also we've been hearing a lot of things about Logan Jones as well. Logan Jones been holding his own too.
That's what you want to hear, especially for your center of the future. Me personally, I anticipate him chilling for a little while, but gain as many reps, gain all the knowledge that you're going to gain, because I think you're going to be the center that runs with Caleb Williams for the foreseeable future if everything maps up the way it's supposed to map. But you're from Iowa. You move cows for your life. So you need to move big men.
Hey, John. Hey, they didn't need John Deere. You was John. No, for sure. Definitely. It was definitely good. But yeah, outside of I didn't mention this was probably TJ Watt's best looking performance. He was loud. He showed his speed. TJ Edwards. Who I say? Watts. Yeah. I don't know. I've been playing Edge all day. But for sure. But Edwards had his strong suit. Tyrique Stevenson looked solid today. But outside of TJ, it was pretty quiet from the defense. And outside of Skylar Thomas, it was pretty quiet from the defense today.
Yeah, I think that a lot of us, we're gonna want to hear a lot of things being spoken about the defense right now. But at the end of the day, I don't think we're gonna really have a gauge on this defense until actual games being played, because there's gonna be so many rotations. There's gonna be limited reps in the preseason for a lot of these guys. You already have guys missing. I ain't gonna lie though. Jordan Vandenberg, is he getting run in this preseason game? Ben Johnson.
He better,
because I want to see him.
Bro, he's the most out of everybody on this team. Even Caleb, I want to see Jordan the most.
That's a fact.
I want to see Jordan Vandenberg the most. Like, at the end of the day, he the 6th round pick. He should get the most burned, in my opinion.
For real. Like, and I think that him showing up and arriving and gaining the trust of his teammates, gaining the trust of his coaches, that says a lot to me. Now, has he putting it all together? Probably not. He's still young in his NFL career. But man, look, include him in his rotation and see what can he do for guys like a Grady Jarrett, who's on the older side, who probably can use less snaps, and then you start adding more snaps as the season goes on. So
I feel you. But yeah, you got anything else before we get up out of here?
Nah, man, we appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all just go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe, man.
On my mama. And if you gotta leave a voice message or a text message or a phone call, it's 773-242-9336. Your number one spot for all Chicago Bears sports and news. We're gonna get up out of here unless some other news drop. And at this point, you never know, because Hayes been on this bitch by about 3 times, not including the fucking videos he done made. But yeah, thank y'all for tuning. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, and we out. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Break